Hey guys, it's Bran. I'm back. Got Steven with me again.
Yep.
And we're just having a blast doing these things, and we're just going to keep doing them until we get tired of it, or if there's an obligation where he can't do one with me. But I really like having him with me doing these things. I like having the camaraderie, and I like having that opposing view sometimes. Sometimes it's amazing. I was telling somebody today that you never really know exactly how we're going to score something. Some songs I think we're going to score exactly the same on, and he goes off in left field. And some songs that I think that we're not going to be the same on, and we end up, hooking up and scoring very same on those songs.
Yep.
So we're going to be doing Rock and Roll Over today. So this is the Rock and Roll Over here. We're going to do it. So before we just get into any long discussion or anything, we're just going to get right into our review of Kiss's Rock and Roll Over.
Gene Simmons, Peter Criss, Paul Stanley, Ace Frehley, Kiss. Rock and Roll Over. Kiss, Rock and Roll Over. Casablanca Records and Tapes. Kiss, Rock and Roll Over.
So Rock and Roll Over is the 5th studio album and the 6th album overall by Kiss. It was recorded in the Star Theater in New York during a break in the fall of 1976 in the month of September. It was produced by Eddie Kramer. It was engineered and mixed by Eddie Kramer and Corky Sasek at the Record Plant Studios in New York. This was their 6th album in less than 3 years. Destroyer caught hardcore fans off guard, so the band decided to get back to basics. Initially, they wanted Jack Douglas to produce. Jack had produced Aerosmith's last 3 albums. But Jack was friends with Bob Ezrin, and it got back to Bob that Kiss was interested in Jack producing, so it got a little uncomfortable. So Kiss decided to go back to Eddie Kramer because of the success of Alive. They recorded at the Star Theater because they wanted to capture the big drum sound. Paul says he was looking for a sound like John Bonham. Initially, they set the drums up in the theater while the rest of the band recorded in a booth. But they ended up getting better sounds in the bathroom, and they used a video link to communicate with Peter. Although Kiss was better musicians and sounded tighter than previous albums, they missed direction and vision that Bob Ezrin gave to help shape and develop the songs and direct the vision of the album as a whole. Paul used Sean Delaney to fill this void left by not having Bob, and the result was Sean co-writing several songs on the album. Sean co-wrote some fan favorites like Take Me, Making Love, and Mr. Speed. All American Man was also written during these writing sessions, but it wasn't used until the studio songs on Kiss Alive 2. Internally during this time, the band was beginning to struggle during this time. Pressures of following up to Alive and Destroyer, added in with the constant touring and the inflated egos due to the blow-up success and the money rolling in, was causing cracks in the band. Paul and Gene had clearly taken over the band at this point, leaving Peter and Ace fighting to have input in the musical direction of the band. During the recording sessions, Peter lashed out at Paul and smashed his acoustic guitar against a wall, and during another Peter tantrum, Gene exploded at Peter, calling him an illiterate idiot who couldn't even read or talk properly. Rock and Roll Over peaked at 11 on the Billboard Top 200 on December 25, 1976, and spent 47 weeks on the charts. It was certified gold by the RIAA on November 11, 1976, and was certified platinum on January 5, 1977. It has never been recertified, but it is speculated to be at least double platinum status worldwide. Now we're going to talk about the packaging here. The packaging was created by artist Michael DeRay, who would return in 2009 to create the Sonic Boom artwork for Kiss. And I got several different versions here. This is my 2014 version, the 2014 re-release that's still sealed. I've yet to open any of my 2014s. This version here that Steven has is the teardrop version, and I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but Paul has a tear there. I'll try to find a clip to put up. But this is a RCA Record Club release, and they say that's a misprint, but it's misprinted on everybody's exactly the same. And this is my original release. And the original release came with a sticker. It came with a sticker inside, and it came with a order form where you could order things, order stuff, your merch, and it had where you could join the Kiss Army on the back side. The Kiss Army was beginning to be in full effect here after being created. I still have to do that video. And this is the dust cover on the inside. So it's really cool packaging. This is a lot of people's favorite artwork. Me and Steven were discussing before we started filming that we're actually going to end up doing a video where we talk about our top 20 favorite Kiss album covers. And I'm going to say covers and packaging because there's some elements about some Kiss albums that I like that are not exactly on the cover. So we'll talk about that video. We'll do that video eventually. Before we rate each song, what I want to do is I want to mention a couple of things. First off, this is the first album that Ace has no songwriting credit on. Second, although band members may switch up instruments on some of the songs, there are no outside performers on this album. And finally, there are only 2 outside writers on this album, Sean Delaney, as I said earlier, and Stan Penridge. I'll mention the songs where the members switch instruments and where the outside writers are when we get to them. So, that's all I have. Do you have anything you want to add before we get to the songs?
No, I said we get right into them.
All right, so we're going to get into the songs. We're going to start off with track 1. What is track 1?
I Want You.
I Want You.
I want you. I want you. I want you. I want you.
I Want You was written and sang by Paul. Although Sean Delaney claims to have co-written this song, he's not credited. Paul also plays the first part of the guitar solo, and Ace plays the second part of the solo. This to me is a great song. It is a great way to start the album. I love the way the song starts off soft with the acoustic guitar and then kicks in. One thing I would have liked to have seen is the guitar, just the acoustic guitar just kind of cuts off. It's like whenever they start that to kick into I Want You, it's like the acoustic guitar just abruptly stops. And I think it would have been cool to have that, at least that acoustic, to continue along on that, even if you had it mixed down a little bit to where it didn't just abruptly stop there.
Yeah, you could mix it down and at least continue it through the first verse. When you get to the pre-chorus of the song, just drop it out.
Right. But I love Paul's vocals in this. I love the songwriting in this, the structure in this. You really are starting to see Paul as the great songwriter that he is becoming on this album. A lot of the songs that Paul wrote on this album, even though he did have a co-writer, Sean Delaney, on a lot of them, nobody can craft a song as far as putting that song together and layering it and giving it the changes and the dynamics. I think nobody really can do that in Kiss as well as Paul Stanley does.
I agree.
So what I did was, as far as this song, I scored this song a 7. So what about you?
Okay, so I really like the intro to this song, the acoustic. There's another song on the album that has an acoustic intro that I like slightly less, just because of the way that it's mixed mostly. Paul's vocals in this song, as you said, they're fantastic. The song is very, very punchy. It's a great way to start the album off. My one complaint is that over the bridge, or the second, there's a flanger, and it's kind of weird. And as you go into the song's intro and you get into where the acoustic cuts and gets into the electric guitar, I almost can't tell whether he's doing like single strums like on beat, or if he's doing like a double time thing like because it's not really mixed that well. It's hard to discern. And I think that if it was definitively one way or the other, it wouldn't matter which one it is. But the fact that I have to like focus and question it makes it kind of strange.
Right.
But I really like this song, and I think it's a great way to start the album. So I give it a 9.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. It is a really good song. We're going to move on to track 2, Take Me.
So take me anywhere you want to
Take Me was written by Paul and Sean Delaney and sang by Paul. Sean Delaney claims that he wrote the whole song entirely and that Paul just slapped co-writing credits on it. But that can't be justified. Peter sings the high background vocal. It's an awesome song. I love the riff. I love the guitars on this song. I love the lyrics. One thing that I notice about this song is, like I said, it's like the first song. Paul's structure is just, he is building the perfect song. He has the formula down. And from the first song of I Want You and Take Me, you're starting to see the trend of the theme of this album. It's starting off a very sexually charged album.
Yes.
So, but I like this song. I like all the elements I said about it. It's a kick butt song. So I score this song a 7.
Oh, double 7s. All right. Let's see if we can get 3 out of you.
Okay.
3 in a row. Okay. So I think this song has one of the nicest bass lines on the album from Gene. I think all the harmonies are really good, especially in the chorus. Even Peter's weird high harmony that he sings over the chorus. I think the best groove in the song. It's got a very good carrying groove through the chorus. I really like the structure of the song. Paul is getting to the point where he's building, the ideal perfect Kiss songs. So I give this song an 8.
Oh, cool. So 2 high marks from both of us to start off.
Yeah.
It's looking pretty good for this to be a good album. Okay, so
that's pretty good for someone who's never listened to this album before.
Right. You had not listened to this album.
I had never. I thought we looked at the track listing last time,
right?
And I thought I'd heard 2 songs off of it, but I actually hadn't. I'd never heard any of the songs off this album. So
cool. So we're gonna move on to the next song. We're gonna move on to
Calling Dr. Love.
Track 3, Calling Dr. Love.
They call me Dr. Love. They call me Dr. Love. I've got the cure you're thinking of.
This was written and sang by Gene. Gene and Paul sing the falsetto background vocals. The song was created when Gene spliced together 2 parts of his other demos, Bad Bad Loving and High and Low. The result is a great song. I love the riff. I love the way Gene sings it. The solo is great, even if it's a bit weird and seems unorganized. I like the way Gene recorded an almost spoken background vocal in the song. I'm okay with the phasing to the left and the right background vocals. There's some mixing issues for me on this song and on this entire album. There are some mixing issues. There's some engineering issues. I do like the way the toms sound on this drum. The toms, if you listen to it in headphones, some good headphones or on a good system, the toms are nice and full, but the bass drum is almost non-existent, which it was in a lot of 70s albums. And the snare, it sounds good on some songs, but doesn't sound, for the most part, it doesn't sound really good. I think Peter is drumming really good on this album. He's not doing anything like Detroit Rock City or King of the Nighttime World drumming, but he is drumming. There's some offbeat stuff in here, like on Take Me, like we was just talking about. It's got that dun 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 dun. It's got that, and there's a lot of offbeat stuff in this that Peter just kind of plays along to. But again, I like this song, another sexually charged song, Calling Dr. Love. You need my love, baby, oh so bad. And Gene, he's getting ready to turn into the demon here in a little bit. But once again, I like this song. I give it a 7. 3 7s in a row.
Wow.
A turkey.
The lucky album. All right. Well, so it's a classic Kiss song. I'm not a big fan of how the verse sounds. I think all of the rhymes are kind of elementary. It's got very strange mixing, as do most of the tracks on this. We discussed. My biggest problem with the album is the mixing. And it's not, the majority of the album isn't mixed badly. It's just, it's very inconsistent.
It is very inconsistent.
Extremely inconsistent. Your guitar has no guarantee of sounding the same from one track to the next.
It's a toss-up.
It really is. I think it has the best solo on the album, in my opinion. I like, it's a different direction. I think it's a little better creatively. And I like it when Ace tries new things like this. having said all these weird things to put it down, I've put it at a 9.
Right. Well, see, and that just goes to show you that you can not like certain elements about a song, about the mixing, about the recording, and those things can bring a score down. But sometimes at the end of the day, you just have to score it in your heart what you want to score it.
There's a lot of things that can get in the way of a good song. Poor musicians, bad mixing, bad equipment. But at the end of the day, a good song is a good song. Mm-hmm. And that's what Calling Dr. Love is. Okay, so that's up for that one. So now we're going to go on to the next track. We're going to get into the ladies' room.
Meet you in the ladies' room. Meet you in the ladies' room. For my money, you can.
This was written and sang by Gene. Gene plays rhythm guitar on this song. Gene recycled parts of another one of his songs called I Don't Want No Romance that he cut a demo for. But, well, all I want to say is, aren't we just a steaming bowl of testosterone and sex and sex? I mean, we're 4 songs in now, and every one of them has been about sex.
They're very clear.
Very clear, They
must be letting off steam from Destroyer.
Right, but still, awesome song. Gene, you cannot discount Gene's songwriting. And what I love about Gene is good at he is good at writing multiple songs. Gene is known for hearing a line from a movie like She Walks by Moonlight. He took the line She Walks by Moonlight and turned it into a song. He's known to just hear something and go, that'd be a good title of a song. That'd be a good lyric for a song. And so Gene just writes. He don't really sit down, I think, the way Paul does. And Paul writes a song almost if he's writing a book or an essay. He's very formulated. He's very calculated, very formulated. He writes with purpose. As we're going to talk about a song later, he studies writing. Whereas Gene will just write. And then he'll go, this song, it's like peanut butter and chocolate. These two would be great together. So he will take songs and he will take elements from different songs and put them together and make one good song. And that is his strength.
Yeah, there's a difference between the songwriting ability of Gene and Paul. Paul, if he doesn't like a song that he's written, he just, balls up the essay, throws it in the trash, and it's never to be seen again in most cases.
Right.
Gene, it's kind of like he's got him neatly tucked away in his file cabinet. He's got them all organized, and then he's like, I need this new song, and he kind of like takes free files out, and he magically pieces them together, and he goes, here you go.
And they're usually good songs.
Yeah.
They're usually good songs. Like I said, I like the riff behind this song. And just that whole meet you in the ladies' room. I mean, it's just the melodies in this song are amazing. The guitar riff is amazing. The solo is good. Gene's vocal is not too over the top on this song yet. But once again, to me, it's a great song again. So I've got to give it a 7. So I'm 4 7s in a row now.
Wow. Is your score going to be 7? I hope not.
My score is a 7 on this.
I mean, like the overall.
Oh, not on all songs.
No, okay.
No.
All right. So for me, ladies' room. Gene plays the rhythm guitar in this song. He sounds like he's being recorded in a tin can, which is my biggest issue.
It's one of those songs where the guitar really just...
It's very, very much in the mid-range, in the low, in the mid-treble range. It's hard to tell whether it's actually Ace's or Gene's, but since this is the only song that has that very tin canny, I'm just going to blame it on Gene. I think this song has kind of a stale drive. We've punched in with songs like I Want You and Take Me and Calling Dr. Love, and I think we've kind of taken our step down almost to the level of previous album Kiss songs. So in comparison to the first 3 that just drive constantly, I think this one's a little more stale. I really like the pre-chorus of the song. I'm not the biggest fan of the chorus, though. And the verses, I'm pretty indifferent. So I give this one a 5.
Okay. Okay, so your first middle of the road.
Yeah, my first
You
middle
know,
of the road song.
working towards being a stinker or a skipper, but it's still middle of the road, still a good song for you.
Yeah, I actually, just to make this statement, this out of all the songs that I've done, or all the albums I've done listens through for, I've listened to this one far more, and I didn't expect that, and I really enjoyed listening to this album, and this will probably be an album I come back to and listen, but we'll see if it's just those 3 songs or if there's any more on the album.
Right. So we're gonna with that we're gonna go on to the next song. We're gonna drive on over to Baby Driver.
Go, baby driver, be driving on down the road.
Now, Baby Driver was written by Peter Criss and Stan Pendridge, sang by Peter. This is one of Peter's leftover songs from his previous band, Lips. The song is about the Lips bassist Alfa Romeo's sports car and a grudge he had against Peter and Stan for making fun of him driving it slow like a baby. They actually called him the Baby Driver. Now, I like this song. To me, it gets a bit repetitive, and this is a lot of people's favorite Peter Criss song. They really love this song by Peter. But I love Peter's vocals. I love the screaming. Like I said before, and I'll say it again, Peter has, in my opinion, the best voice in Kiss. That raspy voice and that rocker voice. I like the way it drives, the dun, 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 and it just keeps that offbeat through the whole thing. And Ace doesn't do a solo in this, but he kind of solos all the way through it. Every time Peter quits singing, Ace throws in a little lick.
He's got a couple little quick licks in there. I think he's got at least kind of one song on every album. He's got, if he doesn't have a solo on it, that is, he's kind of just like, ooh, I'm gonna throw in something cheeky here. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, and so I like this song. I like, I like the song, but this is my first song I'm going to score below a 7, but not much below a 7. And it's just because it kind of without a solo, and there's no really dynamics to it. There's not a lot of dynamics to it. It's kind of one level, and it just kind of stays at that. It starts off hard, and it just kind of keeps it going through. I'm not a fan of a song starting off hard and everything, but I like dynamics. It doesn't really have a pre-chorus. It just kind of goes into "Go, baby, drive." Oh, we're in the chorus now, But I do like the elements of it. The recording is pretty decent. The drums sound pretty good on it. Guitars sound pretty good on it. They have a crunchy sound to them. Ace does his little licks all the way through it. So it's not a 7 for me. I scored a 6. It's still a good song. I still like it. But it's probably, maybe it's my least favorite song on the album. We'll find out.
So this song is very like biker gang-ish. I made the joke to someone who else listens to Kiss. I said, this is Kiss's Slow Ride. So
it is their slow ride.
Yeah, this is Kiss's Slow Ride, basically, because it's a cruising song. Mm-hmm. It stays at that one level for a reason. Mm-hmm. I think, me and you both know, we're true advocate of Peter's vocals. Mm-hmm. There's no denying the man has talent when it comes to vocals. I think he goes a little over the top at the very end of the song. And that's not a bad thing, but the first time I listened through and I heard like the noise that he made, I'm not even going to try and justify what it's called, just the noise, the only thing that popped in my head was a velociraptor.
At the very end there, he does get kind of...
gets
and he does it all through the fade out too. They're fading out and Peter's still screaming at the top of his lungs, Yep.
So. Yep. So that's really all I have to say about the song. Good cruising song. The guitars are probably the crunchiest to this point, which I really like. So I give the song a 6.
Oh, so we scored it the same.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so at this point in time, we're going to flip the vinyl and we're going to go to the first song on the second side, Love 'Em, Leave 'Em. Written and sang by Gene. Once again, Gene uses his ability to recycle and mix and match parts of other songs to make a song. He actually used lyrics from the song Drive Me Wild, which parts were also used for Rock and Roll All Night. So he got 2 songs out of 1 song. He also used parts of the song Rock and Rolls Royce. Now, to me, this is a great song. Gene is definitely using his Gene voice on this song. You know,
Yes.
you do it's all right with me. I mean, he is definitely channeling his inner Cookie Monster, and he is definitely going at it. But it's got that driving beat, that dun 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 dun, and Peter's just, he's on the quarters, and this is a great song. Gene's vocals is good. He's, like I said, he's channeling his demon, he's channeling his inner Cookie Monster. But this is the vocal type of styling that I think he was working towards, and he would begin to use, live from here on out and in other albums from here on out. So great song. They're back to sax, and Peter's drums on it is good. The solo by Ace to me on this one is okay. But I still like this song. I'm back up to 7. I
Wow.
score this song a 7.
All right. Riding the 7 train. All right. So, just to repeat what you said, Gene uses his demon voice in this one, and it's becoming more and more of his trademark after God of Thunder. I'm not opposed to it. I'm neither here nor there on it, really. It's just a vocal style. So, to me, the whole song is kind of uninspiring. It's kind of like, well, we've kind of been here and done that before. In my opinion, I don't know what it is about this album and pre-choruses, but I like the pre-chorus to this song a whole lot. But I feel like the whole song kind of leaves something to be desired. I'm not the biggest fan of it, so I'm giving this one a 5.
Oh, 5. Isn't that your lowest so far?
Yeah.
Think so?
Ladies' Room is also 5.
The ladies' room is also 5. All right. So we're going to go on to the next track. We're going to go on to Mr. Speed. And Mr. Speed was written by Paul and Sean Delaney and sang by Paul. It was written about a guy who can pick up women really quickly and having all the right lines and all the right moves and knows how to get the job done without wasting time. Now, I really like Mr. Speed. It's one of those songs, as soon as it starts, that little, I start smiling. I like this song. This is a great song. The lyrics, this is another perfectly built Paul Stanley construction. And he's just nailing these songs in his songwriting. The performance is good. His vocal is good. And there's one part where they go, I like some of the recording aspects of this. Like I said, I don't mind the phasing. The background vocals on this song are very prominent. It's almost like they're foreground vocals.
Yes, yeah, they're right there with Paul.
And there's this part where he goes, like well, baby, don't you know you can? And they go, cry, I. And the phasing just while they're doing that cry, it's like
Really
back and forth.
Really quick phasing.
Right, it's like whoop, 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 back and forward. And when you listen to it, it's like it's going back and forward on you. The guitars, sound a little, this is one of those songs where, this is a song you don't want a lot of crunch on. So I think they dialed the songs in right. Ace has a great solo. It's got the breakdown where it returns back to the riff and Peter's just kind of hitting on the toms. And then it goes into the part coming out of that little break, and you can't unhear it once you hear it. In the right channel, I believe, whenever they come out of that break and they fade the rhythm guitar back in really quick, you can hear it. It goes, and I'm like, oh man, that's horrible. I'm an amateur recorder, amateur mixer, and I would have heard that and been like, okay, no, we got to fix that. But I score this song an 8. I love Mr. Speed. So this is my highest score to this point, is an 8.
All right, Mr. Speed. Brilliant recorded guitars, in my opinion, for this type of song. There's a part where they kind of approach Ladies' Room tinny level, but when you're dealing with Paul's vocals versus Gene's vocals, that's okay, because Gene's
Gene's vocals almost demand a heavier guitar.
and they occupy a different space in the frequency range.
Right.
Paul is very high register, very kind of nasally. So the tinier guitars is fine. I love the intro of the song. I love the riff. I love the chorus. The guitars throughout the song. It's my second favorite solo on the album, I have to say. I feel like the song has some of the best energy on the album. I wish I could hear a live version of it, because I feel like it would really, really stand out. Because this isn't a song I've ever heard of any Kiss fan talk about. And I'm just like, why is this not one? This is a great song. So this song,
There's actually a lot of people that like Mr. Speed.
is there really? Well, I must not be that.
There's actually a tribute band named Mr. Speed. Andrew Scambatti from, I think it's Kiss My Collectibles. He actually is a drummer. He dresses up like Peter, and he has a Kiss tribute band called Mr. Speed.
Wow.
So I'm sorry I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's fine. No, I like the little fun facts. I scored a 9.
9.
9.
Yeah, awesome. I appreciate that. I love this song. I'm glad we are in agreement on this song, and he actually scored it better than me.
Yeah.
I almost scored it a 9, but I had to back off scoring it a 9 because of another song on the album. So we'll get to that one. So right now we're going to go to the next track. We're going to go to See You in Your Dreams. Written and sang by Gene. Gene played some of the rhythm guitar on this song, but he's not credited for it. It's a great riff and good song composition. This song is one of the songs on the album that shows Gene can write and arrange songs as well. Now I think it's worth noting that Gene did not use a co-writer on any of his songs on this album. He wrote all of his songs by himself, and I think this is a good song. I like this song. And Gene would go on to re-record this song for his 1978 solo album, because he didn't like exactly how the way the song on Rock and Roll Over turned out. So we'll find out when we get to the solo albums if I like that version better or not. I like the solo on this song. This song overall is a good song for me and everything. It's the shortest song on the album, about 2 minutes and 34 seconds. It's very short. But I still like this song enough to score it a 7.
Wow. Back up to 7.
Back up to 7.
Well, down technically, but
Yeah.
I think me and you are probably in disagreement in this song. Although the structure of the song, as far as the verse and the chorus, I think is pretty good. I feel like the song is kind of weirdly phrased in terms of the guitars and the vocals. I feel like the guitars aren't mixed very well, kind of just like in Ladies' Room. There's just something lacking. I can't really put my ear on it. And all of the songs on this album are very presumptuous, very forward, but this one to me seems like the most, what's the word? Presumptuous of them all. It's like, I'm
going to see you in your dreams tonight.
Yeah, I must see you. I think that probably is my biggest problem with the song. And that's just a personal preference. But that's my overall opinion. So I'm going to score it a 4.
Ooh, okay, so below a 5.
Yeah, that's my lowest so far.
Also, you scored this a 4, so we'll see if that's your worst song on the album after we get to the next 2 songs. We're going to move on to Hard Luck Woman. Hard Luck Woman was written by Paul with the musical inspiration of Rod Stewart's Maggie May and You Wear It Well, and lyrically he used the inspiration of the song Brandy by the band Looking Glass. He was writing it as a personal exercise to grow his writing with no intention of ever using it in Kiss. Once he completed it, he realized it was really good, and he was trying to get it to Rod Stewart. But after hearing it, Gene insisted that Paul keep the song for Kiss, but give the song to Peter in hopes that they would be able to follow up the ballad Beth. Paul agreed since Peter has a raspy voice similar to Rod Stewart's. The song was released as a single in hopes to have the same success as Beth. The single reached 15 on the U.S. singles chart in December 1975. It didn't quite repeat the success of Beth, but it kept Kiss on the singles chart. Now, I like this song, and one of the things I like about it is the acoustic guitars in this song.
Yep.
Kiss has never really had a song where they have
Been
Put-
acoustic forward.
acoustic forward and it was put as the main instrument in the song. It was always either accompanying something or used as an intro to something. It's like, okay, let's put the acoustic guitar away and let's get the
real instruments
Let's get the real instruments out. But this is a good song. When I hear this song, I can tell. I remember as a kid, I heard this song for the first time when I was about 9 years old. Rod Stewart was big back then. This was, like I said, back in the 70s. Rod Stewart was real back then. And I remember the very first time I heard this song, I hadn't quite had Rock and Roll Over album yet. I didn't own it yet. I heard it as a single. And I remember thinking it was Rod Stewart. I didn't realize it was a Kiss song because it didn't sound like a Kiss song. Even Beth had orchestra and stuff like that. This was still a ballad, but it didn't have the orchestration or anything like that. It just had acoustic guitars as the primary instrument. And Peter sang it. He sounded like Rod Stewart to me. Peter sings it really good. This is a lot of people's favorite song by Peter. It's their favorite ballad by Kiss. I've actually heard some people tell me it's their favorite song off the album. Hard Luck Woman is what they listen to Rock and Roll Over for. I'm not one of those people. But it's really good. Once again, Paul, this is an exercise in writing, and it shows. It really shows. But it's a good song. It's recorded well. It's performed well and everything. But there's just something inside of me that I can't get into it. So this is my second 6 on the album. It's still above a 5. But this is probably my least favorite song on the album. Don't shoot me.
So, I wrote and thought that this is obviously, without really looking at the history of, what the songs and stuff is, this is obviously Beth 2.0. There's
Beth Reboot.
Beth Reboot, yeah, whatever they call them nowadays. I feel like the intro with the acoustics is a little bit overmixed. There's a lot going on in the intro of the song. I feel like this is one of Peter's strongest songs up to this point. His vocals are solid. The not very prominent drumming is very good. But the thing that shines like the Star Child himself is the structure and the construction of this song and the thoughtfulness. It's a really, really good song. But given the context of the rest of the album, you just spent 6 songs talking about banging people, and now we're going to go find a Hard Luck Woman. So this is going to be a 6.
Oh, for you as well. Okay. Did you feel like on this song that maybe they were trying to write the hit and they were trying, like maybe the song is almost a little too perfect? It's like they were trying too hard and they still produced a good song. Do you? But
I feel like, see, here's the difference. Like, the anthems, Shout Out Loud, Rock and Roll All Night, they're written for a purpose. They're written to be anthems, and that's okay. But when you're writing a song with the purpose of trying to write a hit song, I feel like it loses its soul. And this song was good when Paul was writing it as practice. That's when this song was good. But the second that it was put into the producing ring as this can be our follow-up to Beth, I think that's when the song just lost its soul.
All right. So we're going to move on to the last song. We're going to move on to Making Love.
I just hate when the girl says, wait.
Making Love was written by Paul and Sean Delaney and sang by Paul. Now, I'm going to just go ahead and say I freaking love this song. I mean, favorite song on the album. The way this song starts, the way it drives, the way it is constructed, the way the pre-chorus comes in, the way the acoustic guitar comes in over the pre-chorus, the way slows down a little bit for that, and then it kind of kicks back in for the making love, the chorus, and then the little musical interlude turnaround after the chorus, going back into the second verse. The solo, in my opinion, is the best solo on the album. It is one of Ace's better solos. I'd maybe put this in the top 10 if when we do an Ace top 10 guitar solos. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this one's gonna be somewhere in there, because it's frenzied but it's calculated, and and he's just hitting those notes, and I love this song. And when they do the little break at the end for Peter to go down through all 8 of his toms, because his kit was swelling to a pretty good size by now, and it'd get even bigger as they got towards Kiss Alive 2. It'd be massive by then. But 8 toms all the way down, and then they go back into it. I like this song. I like it better on Alive 2. Most of these songs that are on here, that are on Alive 2, I like better on Alive 2. There's probably some I like about the same. Maybe 1 or 2 I like a little less. But this song, I like it good on here. I like it better on Alive 2. This is my 9.
This is your 9.
This is my 9. This is my favorite song on the album.
Nice. Okay. So I think this song has fantastic energy. It's one of the best songs on the album, in my opinion. I'll go ahead and say that right now. It's also one of the best mix tracks. My only issue with the mixing is Paul's kind of weird callback delay that they put on his vocals during the chorus. Mm-hmm. That's my only problem. As you said, the interlude after the second chorus that kind of brings it down, that's great. The pre-chorus is also really good. It takes it down just enough for you to be like, yeah, let's get kind of sentimental, and then it's just like, boom, back into it. It's a great song. I love it. There's not much left I can say about it that you haven't already said. As I've already said, Calling Dr. Love has my favorite solo on the album, and I'm not going to reprise that. I genuinely think that's the best solo. And Mr. Speed is his second. This would definitely be number 3, and this is right there with Mr. Speed. It was a very hard consideration. This song for me is going to be a 9.
Awesome. 2 9s. That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's I mean, Kiss, when you get 9 ratings from 2 curmudgeons like us.
Yeah. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a minute to recap the songs. I'm going to recap my songs in the order on the album. What you want? Oh, you wanted to. That's right. You wanted to share something first.
I kind of had like an overall statement.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so my overall statement for this album is, even through the weird mixes and the heavier direction and, all it seems like band problems that were going on, it seems like it has a heavier direction, which I personally like. It has some of the greatest riffs and tunes that we've listened to up to this point. Mm-hmm. And you ever heard that your best instrumentally in your most comfortable environment? Peter must be pretty comfortable in the bathroom then, because he's great on this album.
Yeah.
I have one issue that stretches across this entire album. And I haven't mentioned it up to this point, but every single song, listen to it yourself, fades out. Why? Everyone.
That was big in the 70s.
I know it was big in the 70s, but every song, Paul's a great songwriter. He can write outros. Come on, guys.
It was a cop-out. Yeah.
It's cop-out.
Yeah, that's what you...
Yeah, I told you on the phone.
Cop-out.
Welcome to Kiss Cop-Out, the album.
Kiss, Rock and Roll Over, Cop-Out. One thing that I noticed about this album that I didn't mention, and it's recording wise, and I don't know if you, Stephen, you've recorded some, and there's some people of you out there that probably have recorded. The effect that they use on every lead vocal in this album is what I think is called plate. And basically what it is just a split second, one time reverb delay of the vocal. It makes it sound like that they're in a hard room with plates on the wall, and you get that one bounce back reverb off of it.
Yeah.
And it's good that you use it in some songs. I wish they would have done a little bit different effects on the main vocals. They did all kinds of effects on the background vocals.
Yeah.
But the
Flangers and pans
and flangers and phasings, and like, you know, sometimes you'd have a background vocal coming out of just one speaker, or a guitar coming out of just one speaker, and they was inconsistent in a lot of their mixing and engineering. But one of the things they remained consistent
They
with
used the plate.
is they used that plate reverb effect, and it's not bad when you're listening to a song off the album here or there. But when you listen to the album as a whole,
As an
from front to
entirety,
back,
yeah.
you hear that plate reverb every time. And it's like, oh, plate reverb again. It's really bad on Dr. Love.
Yes. Yes.
You know, on Gene's vocals, it has a tendency to be really bad. But it's kind of through the whole album.
Well, if any of you are bass players and you've ever tried to use a plate reverb, you'll understand why Gene's vocals on a plate reverb kind of sounds the way that it does. I would suggest it. You know, plate reverb was very popular during that time because it was kind of a newer thing. Mm-hmm. And it does have a certain sound, and there's a lot of applications where it's okay. A lot of country artists still use plate reverb or spring reverb. Mm-hmm. But I think in this application, in modern rock music, you're either going to want a hall or a room reverb. And neither one of those, I mean, I don't know how hard those were to accomplish back in the 70s.
Right.
But to use primitive technology to record a room reverb, all you have to do is stick a mic in a different room. Mm-hmm. So it couldn't have been that hard to try and switch it up. I mean, maybe they were like, this is the one thing we're going to stay consistent on, and we're going to be experimental with everything else. And, you know, if that's what they did, then, you know, we still rated the album super high anyway.
Right. So speaking of ratings, that's what we're going to move on to. We're going to move on to recapping, and we're going to move on to our ratings of the entire album. So to recap mine, I gave I Want You a 7, Take Me a 7, Calling Dr. Love a 7, Ladies Room a 7, Baby Driver a 6, Love 'Em and Leave 'Em a 7, Mr. Speed an 8, See You in Your Dreams a 7, Hard Luck Woman a 6, and Making Love a 9. That's a total of 71 divided by 10 songs. That's a rating of 7.1 for the album. What about you?
Okay, so I Want You is a 9, Take Me is 8, Calling Dr. Love is 9, Ladies Room is 5, Baby Driver is 6, Love 'Em Leave 'Em is 5, Mr. Speed is 9, See You in Your Dreams is 4, Hard Luck Woman is 6, Making Love is 9, making a total score of 70 divided by 10 tracks is 7.0.
So 7.0, 7.1. So we're right there together. We like this album. This is a really good album.
It really, really surprised me that I scored this higher than Alive, which I consider to be one of my more favorite albums. But I'm kind of selective about the songs I like on Alive.
I have to admit, I really didn't know which way you were going to go with this, because when I say that he's a newer Kiss fan, he really truly is a newer Kiss fan. There's Kiss catalog albums that he's not heard before ever, period. And
This
not
is one of them.
And this is one of them.
Yeah, I'm familiar with a lot of the album names just from, like, if I scroll through on, like, a playlist or anything like that. But, like, I've never heard anything off Hot in the Shade, Revenge, Psycho Circus. A lot of the past, The Elder, I haven't heard. Animalize, Asylum.
And what I'm going to try to do is the albums that he's not heard, what I'm having him do is I don't want him to go listen to them too early. I'm trying to get about a week. You got about a week's listen time in on this.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do is I want to get my old, 40 plus years Kiss opinion versus a 1 week opinion. And to see, because I want to see how Kiss sounds to fresh ears, somebody who has never heard these songs. They've heard the band, but they've not heard these songs. So this is a really cool experiment that we're doing. I want to move on next to the reworked track listing. Now, the track listing, I think, on this is pretty good. There's a couple changes I'd make, though. I wouldn't change the first side at all. For side one, I'd keep I Want You, Take Me, Calling Dr. Love, Ladies Room, Baby Driver. So that is what I'd do for side one. For side two, what I'd do is I would move Making Love up from the last track on the album to the first track on the second side. I would put Mr. Speed next, Love 'Em and Leave 'Em, See You in Your Dreams, and then finish the album with Hard Luck Woman. So, do you have a track listing change that you would make? Or
I would, other than, I mean, yours is pretty solid. I think the album altogether, the track listing is pretty solid.
it is pretty solid. I
think-
just want to get to Making Love sooner.
The only
I'm stingy. I just want to get to Making Love sooner.
I want to get to the good songs.
Right.
The only thing I'd do is I'd end it with Hard Luck Woman. I'd leave it pretty much the same. I'd just swap Making Love and Hard Luck Woman and leave it at that. Because, no, that's pretty good. I'd leave it there.
All right. And we're going to wrap this video up. Basically, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to do my total score for this album stacked up against the other ones so far. So if you look at the list that I have on the screen right now, you see we have a new leader. Rock and Roll Over, that I affectionately call Raro, is 7.1, take the first spot. Kiss Alive is nipping on its heels at 706. Or 7.06. Destroyer is 6.77. Dress to Kill is 6.3. The Debut is 6.0. Hotter Than Hell is 5.7. So, final thoughts on the album.
I liked it a lot more than I thought I would, actually. I don't know why. I kind of get in these are the albums I like. This is my comfort zone. Anything outside of this is foreign to me and is bound to hurt me. So I went into this album pretty skeptically. I was coming off album like Destroyer, which it scored lower than I thought. But I like a lot of the songs on Destroyer, and I'm like, it's not going to be the same type of content. You don't have someone like Bob Ezrin directing it. We're going to go back to Dress to Kill or Hotter Than Hell, and we're going to be back to the same old Kiss songs. But it turns out
This is the first time they made an album like this.
when you imbue talented songwriters with a talented person like Bob Ezrin, and then you keep them in a boot camp for a couple months in a studio, and then you let them back out, they turn out a pretty good album. Mm-hmm. So that's my closing thoughts on Raro.
Rock and Roll Over, I knew that I liked this album, and like I said before in some of my past videos, is I'm not rating these albums ahead of time. I'm trying to go into them and really judge the songs against each other and kind of look back at what I rated other songs that I liked, and then looking and going, well, do I like this song off of Rock and Roll Over better than this song off of Dress to Kill or Destroyer or whatever, and then base my scores on that. So I didn't think this album was going to beat Kiss Alive. I thought that when we come out of this, I was going to have Kiss Alive still the second, and Rock and Roll Over nipping on its heels, or Destroyer and Rock and Roll Over fighting for that second position behind Kiss Alive. I wasn't expecting this to be my takeover album, but if I was honest with myself, I guess I do like it better. I know I like it just as much, but if you look at my nerdy mathematical way of doing things, I like it better. So this is what we're going to be doing next. And so we...
I think that about wraps it up.
That about wraps it up. We appreciate you watching. We want you to continue to comment if you've got an opinion, if we did something wrong, said something wrong, gave out misinformation. It's all innocent. We didn't mean to. But what's your opinions? What songs do you like on this? What songs do you not like? What are you mad at us about? Leave a comment below. Be sure to subscribe. Click on my face. It'll come up at some point in time. And share. Don't keep us all to yourself. Don't be stingy. Share us. We don't mind being shared. But that does it for me. That does it for Rock and Roll Over. So I am Brant,
I'm Steven.
and we'll see you next time. So, final thoughts on the album.
I liked it. Why did I go Australian there for me?
I liked it a lot.
I liked it
I like it a
a
lot.
lot better.
I like it a lot.